We often call the African buffalo, genus and species SYNCERUS CAFFER, the Cape buffalo, but this isn't always correct. The southern or Cape buffalo is the most widespread and has the largest horns. He's also the largest in the body, he's the most plentiful, and certainly he's the one that's most commonly hunted, but he's just one of several subspecies. The Cape buffalo is found throughout southern Africa and in East Africa all the way to northwestern Uganda. From this point north and west, African buffalo become progressively smaller in both body and horn. Instead of uniformly black animals, northern and western races show various shades of brown, red, and tan within the herds. Moving to the west, Nile buffalo are found in northwestern Uganda, Sudan, and Ethiopia. Central African savanna buffalo are found in Central African Republic and northern Cameroon. From Nigeria westward, above the forest zone, the buffalo are called West African savanna buffalo. To the south, in the true forest zone, are the smallest buffalo, the dwarf forest buffalo. Southern Cape buffalo bulls will weigh about 1,500 pounds, and dwarf forest buffalo bulls weigh about half that, and almost all are some shade of red. Despite these significant differences, actual hunting of the buffalo is much the same. It really depends a lot on the thickness of the vegetation and the terrain, and the potential danger is exactly the same. Regardless of which buffalo is hunted, the thicker the cover, the greater the danger, because your encounters are simply going to be closer. The African buffalo is primarily a grazing animal, and although they'll also browse from shrubs and trees. They have to have open water, and preferably they'll drink every day, but certainly every other day. The two primary requirements for buffalo habitat are thus grass and water. Naturally, they were widespread over much of Africa, excepting the great deserts. Buffalo carry bovine diseases, which of course they spread to domestic cattle, so today, buffalo are mostly confined to wild areas. The exception to this is South Africa, where they've been working very hard for years to breed up disease-free buffalo, and they're becoming much more plentiful down there. Total population is unknown, but even with today's more restricted range, African buffaloes definitely range into the low millions. The buffalo's daily routine is also important to understand because it dictates hunting strategies. Actual distance buffalo travel depends primarily on available grass and water, but also whether they've been harassed by predators, whether lions or humans. However, buffalo have to ruminate, chew their cuds for several hours a day. Typically, they'll bed from late morning until late afternoon, and then they'll get up and start to graze. Through the night, they'll alternately feed and rest, and they'll usually go to water at some point from late afternoon to early morning. In the early morning hours, they're usually moving and feeding, but starting to move toward or look for a place to lie up during the heat of the day. In wooded areas, this will usually be in deep shade, but in open areas, they'll often choose wide open short grass savannas where they can readily see the approach of any threat. Buffaloes have good hearing, reasonable eyesight, and an extremely keen sense of smell, and this is their first and most trusted line of defense. Any stalk has to have favorable wind, but buffaloes are most approachable when moving and feeding. They're least approachable when bedded because at least a few buffaloes, often older cows, are certain to have their heads up, watching at all times.